that don't do much come filled with ads, send pesky notifications, or sometimes are even duplicates. So we tested 16 brands and 26 phones in total. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Starting with the good, and that includes brands like OnePlus, Samsung, Motorola, Nokia, Nokia Max, Lava, and, of course, Google. And the Pixel 6 likely so comes the least amount of pre-installed apps of all the phones that we've tested for this particular video. Now there are a few apps that some could consider as inessential apps and that could be tucked away within settings. I was really surprised to see that Micromax and Lava only have a few more pre-installed apps than the Pixel pre-installed when you set it up for the very first time, which is such a clean experience. Now the security patch situation might not be great on these two brands. That's something that you have to keep in mind. There are a few third-party apps pre-installed, but you can uninstall them. And there are absolutely no inessential. First, the apps pre-installed, which is a great Samsung, one of the leading smartphone brands in the world. We tested that on the Galaxy S22 and the Galaxy M33 5 grams, and that's maximum number of apps that Samsung pre-installs. Is the fact that OneDrive cannot be uninstalled from the phone? Some of the reinstalled first-party apps such as, Samsung Free, My Galaxy and more. You will end up installing a lot of apps, a lot of unnecessary first-party, third-party ads, mostly from the likes of Samsung and Microsoft. So you have to be really careful during the setup process. Of good phones where you get the, minimum amount of bloatware pre-installed. Now the total number of pre-installed apps on these phones ranges anywhere between 37 to 41, which is fairly okay. Many first-party apps which could very well have been features inside the setting app themselves. They don't need a separate app for it. Oxygen OS now means that you get 3 files app. So much for providing us the cleanest experience out of the box. You get easily bad list. Now, Xiaomi and Poco are 2 brands in this list that have anywhere between 49 to 51 apps pre-installed, of which 6 apps are third-party apps, but you also get unnecessary first-party apps, which includes apps like Zili Mi Pay, Mi Credit, and more reinstalled security app on Xiaomi Poco and Redmi phones. Next, and, Tecno phones, which course are from the parent Transient group of phones. The problem with these phones are not the pre-installed Facebook and WPS Office apps, which of course, can be uninstalled as well, but the crappy first-party ones. There are just way too many of them. I mean, who really needs apps like Aha Games, Wheelies, and Your Party? Example, you wanted to uninstall the Mi Credit app on the Poco Export. You cannot do that. If you wanted to uninstall Your Party on the Infinix 05 grams, you to do that either. So my request from these brands, Infinix Tecno, Xiaomi Poco, and Redmi, is that please fix this situation. Now, Realme and Oppo come with at least 10 to 14 pre-installed third-party apps. I really don't understand why apps like Mod, ShareChat, Josh, and Booking.com should be pre-installed on my phone. That's not it. Inessential first-party app are also pre-installed, aplenty on these phones. And to note that apps like Financial Pay and Hey Fund cannot be pre-installed, is absolutely frustrating to me. Now the situation is similar on Vivo and iQOO phones as well, only that there are fewer third-party apps pre-installed, but yeah, the situation is pads. And by the fact that there are so many bloatware apps pre-installed on this phone itself is an ugly situation. It's even uglier when installed. It really irks me that phones like the Real Big GT2 Pro, the Vivo X70 Pro Plus and the iQOO 9 Pro also come with, all of these apps pre-installed. Firstly, the user has to be very careful while setting up a phone. Phone users will end up with 2 completely different canceling phone. Third-party apps like Facebook, Netflix are mostly uninstallable, but first-party apps are generally not, which is not a good thing. Redundant apps. For example, the Files app that I mentioned on OnePlus phones are merely extensions or features that should be, tucked away within settings. What I mean by that is you will see a similar number of pre-installed bloatware apps, and sometimes even total pre-installed apps on phones that cost as much as a Ringgit Pro and phones that cost as less as Realme 9. Third-party uploader apps like these, and mostly these can be uninstalled easily. The second-time uploader apps are from the manufacturer itself. Apps like these. Most of these can't be uninstalled. They can only be disabled. The third type of loadware is from Google. I know a lot of these apps are something people use, but what if you use a browser other than Chrome or an email app other than Gmail? Again, most of these apps can't be. Of course, you need to set up ADB on your Windows PC or your Mac, or even if you have Linux, it's fine to set up ATB. We have a very simple to follow guide on how to set up ATB on all of these platforms. Just follow that and you should be fine. Once you have a DB set up on your laptop, go to your phone and enable developer options. I think you know how. Tap on the bill number 4 to 5 times and you should get this prompt. After this, enable USB debugging in the developer options. Then connect your phone to your laptop, and when you use the ADB command, you should get this prompt on your phone. Just hit allow in this. Now, you need to install this, the Universal Android Debloat. This is an open source tool available for Windows, macOS, and Linux. And this is a tool that helps you remove system apps can't be removed natively. Just install this and open it up, and you should get this UI. I know it looks a little boring and complicated, but it works. And that's what matters. By default, this shows you the recommended Bluetooth apps you should remove from your device. So what you can do is search for the app you want to remove. I have the Open Kading connected here, as you can see in the ADB devices command, and now I can just open up the Debloater tool, select all here instead of recommended. Now, I can just search for the apps I want to remove. I can search for the Color OS browser, which no one uses, and select it. I can search for the Finchin Pay app and select it. I'm also adding the Open Roaming app here. Now, I can just hit uninstall selection, and that's it. These apps are gone. Simple, right? Let me show you another example. So, here's the Galaxy F23 connected now, as you can see from the device's name on the top, and I can search for system apps like My Galaxy, the Samsung Max app, AR Zoom, and just uninstall them with one click. Yeah, this is good. I know these apps are listed by the package name, so if you have blues, finding the app you want to remove, just install this app called Package Name View on your phone. This lets you search for the apps in your phone and see their package name, so you can use the names here to search for them in the Universal Android Deep Bloater. Look, this is a great tool. If you want to remove a system app that you think is bloatware and that's annoying you with background usage or notifications, you can remove every single app in your phone with this tool. Even apps like Google Play Store, if you want. Yes, the com.android.vending app is the Google Play Store.